Yo, what is up, everybody? It is Kilaklan here. Now, no, seriously, but today, why is this thing so big? I don't want that big. Dang, what the heck? Dang, I don't want it that big. What? Cardiel, that's his name for his little channel. It's so cool. Sorry, I forgot to be so small. I'm just trying to find something. What gamer player? Yeah, I got the gamer player's number, guys. I got the gamer player's numbers. Pretty cool, ain't it? No, but it's, if I do this, what's it's about the same, but it's just me being okay. But let's see, where is James making a video? I don't know how far he's into making the video, but I mean, a cool thing with YouTube now. Look, look. You can talk to. I didn't ask for Zedge. Me too. And another thing with Phantom Clan is that if you search up, ooh, who's watching? Another thing that's good with Phantom Clan, if you search up Phantom Clan, oh, where the first person pops up. That is cool. We're doing 100. When we get to 200 videos, we're gonna do a 200 video special. So I don't really want anybody posting until we get 200 videos. That's when we do our 200 videos special. No, I didn't do a 100 video per special because I was posting so much that I went past it. I didn't want to delete any videos because you never want to delete videos. I mean. Guys, make sure to like the stream. If you're new, please subscribe and hit the bell. Oops. Gotta disconnect from my Bluetooth. Wait. Turn that up. Turn it up. Turn up. Turn up. Turn up. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Feel like I wear a favorite like you won't play right. I used up, but I know that don't feel right. I used to buy a maze, it's mine. Oh, if you want it, girl, you can have it, girl, if you need it. Gotta listen to some more California boys, Michigan. Yeah, he fast. That is pretty cool. He got one of those motorbikes. That is kind of cool. That's nice. That's a real nice. It's a snigger. No, okay. Hello?
What's up?
Yeah, sorry, you about to upload that video?
I'm at McDonald's right now.
What?
I was doing a video at McDonald's.
Oh, so where are you right now?
McDonald's?
Oh, doesn't
We're in
McDonald's...
the play place.
Huh?
We're being a child and we're in the play place.
The play place?
Yeah, listen.
Man, you want a play place. I thought you were 13.
I am actually in the same place.
Okay. What you gotta upload that video because people are hating on me.
Why?
I don't know. They're like make James post, make him post. I'm like no. Huh?
I'm in the same place.
Oh. You look so James-just like.
Ow!
Huh?
Ow!
You just do. You're crawling in a play place, man.
I'm 13.
I know, but still, you're 13. You
got me chicken nuggets.
what?
What are you talking about? I'll be doing a video when we're done. Where I'm gonna upload once we get good Wi-Fi, because the Wi-Fi here sucks.
And you can yell, it's such a break.
He wants to join.
Huh?
He said he wants to join.
What, Killer Clan? I mean, Phantom Clan?
He wants to join the Killer Clan.
Well, the name's not Killer Clan anymore.
I'm really good at editing.
Can you make intros?
I can make intros too.
No, not the off-brand ones, like actual big ones, like the like big YouTubers.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm doing a live right now, so James, you can give him the information at a different time because I don't want you telling him over a live stream because I don't want everybody knowing our password and everything in our email. So just tell him a little later, like when I'm not doing a live stream, then, you know.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. So, that was a quick video with James. I know, guys. Y'all miss James, you know. Yeah, I know. Y'all, if I was one who's mad, I don't know who he is. Like, I got some random, when I log into other people's account, like, Spider Guy Back Killer, Urban Stevens, like they just give me random contact. I'm like, what the heck, man? No, I know this live stream was called Voice Impressions. So, yeah. Okay, Wargamer. Yeah. Well, so Wargamer, you have any impression, like voices I should do? Impressions of voices that, you know, like British accent and stuff, then just tell me. And I'll do it for you, y'all guys, because I don't have any. I mean, seriously, though. Right?
He's flipping the birdie and he's telling me off. If you guys want to watch this video, click right here. And also there's another vlog video if you guys want to go through the channel where I almost got arrested for being brown. I got pulled over, I got ID checked. It was really crazy. I mean, what's going on in Italy? If you guys want to check it out, you guys can click right here. Also, I'll put the link in the description below. But other than all of that, Italy was amazing. The food was great. And I can't wait to go back. Okay, so enough of all that. Let's get right into this list. This is the top 10 people who outlived insane prison sentences. Starting off at number 10, we have Eddie Cobb. Collins, and this is not to get confused with Eddie Collins, the American baseball player. We're talking about a man who's been locked up for the past 43 years. Eddie was serving time for first-degree murder. Throughout his prison stay, he said, and I quote, "It was a sad situation. It was something I regret and still regret." He was 21 years old, living in Arizona at the time he was locked up. He grew up in the bad part of the city where he was buying drugs with his 17-year-old brother. Well, one day when Eddie and his brother was buying drugs, they got into an altercation, and that's when Eddie pulled out a gun, and you guys know what happens next. Bam, bam, life in jail. Moving into number 9, we're talking about Otis Johnson, who just served 44 years behind bars. Otis went to prison at the age of 25 years old for attempted murder of a police officer. Otis has been locked away since the 70s, and now he's just entered into the modern society of complex technology. It's going to be a really tough time for him, but he did commit a horrible crime. Back in 1998 was when he lost touch with his family, so he doesn't know anything about them or where they are. He's just alone in the world. When he was released from prison, they gave him his ID back, and they gave him $40. Here you go, spending spree. He is for sure gonna have to renew his ID because, I mean, he's been locked away for a very long time, and $40 won't actually get you that far. And oh yeah, he also got 2 bus tickets. I mean, where the heck is Otis gonna go? He enters the world as a homeless person. He was released at the age of 69 years old. Most of your life is gone. You've lived it. And it was in jail. He can no longer work, so I'm not sure how he's going to make a living. Well, I guess that was a decision he should have decided 44 years ago. Number 8, we have John Franzese, who is a 100-year-old mobster who was just released from prison after serving 50 years behind bars. John was released on the 23rd of June of this year, so that was just like weeks ago. He was released from the Federal Medical Center. John was an underboss of the crime organization. John has boasted about killing at least 60 people in his lifetime of crime. It's actually so crazy to me that this guy was allowed to be released into the public. I know he's probably now a very, very harmless old man who can't really do anything, but he didn't give those 60 people a chance at life. I don't know, I'm just saying. Serving 60 years at number 7, we have Harvey Stewart. Harvey was released back in 2011 at the age of 83 years old. Harvey Stewart has a really long rap sheet from a junkyard heist in Houston to murdering someone. During most of his prison stay, not many people visited him, and Stewart can't recall one person who visited him in the past decade or 2. He has been isolated from the world and doesn't know what's been going on. He doesn't know the Paul brothers are taking over YouTube. So coming out after 60 years must be a huge shock to him, especially this. Like, what is that? How do you explain that that was the most popular thing this year? When he was sentenced to prison, a Volkswagen Beetle cost just $1,700. Shoes were $10. John F. Kennedy was president. People went to space for the first time. The Beatles just released their first single in the UK. So much has changed over time. Number 6, we have a man who served 62 years behind bars. We're talking about Hugh Elderman. He was a bank robber who was obviously caught. His jail sentence started when he was 23 years old back in 1917. Hugh was the sole survivor of a 4-man gang. Just a few years after being sent to prison, he was able to escape, and he escaped again in 1924. In 1927, he was released to a mental hospital where he passed away at the age of 86 years old. Hugh lost his whole life just because he wanted some money. He didn't want to work for it. He was able to steal $6,000, which is like, what the heck? But back then, that's $6,000 back then. With inflation, the money now would be worth around $124,000. That's still not enough money to just lose your whole life, like to take chance of that. I don't know. Now, this person has lived a really sad story, and this person comes in at number 5. And I'm talking about Charles Edward Ford, who outlived a 64-year-long prison sentence. The sad part is, Charles was innocent. He has served one of the longest sentences as an innocent person. He was actually released from prison just last year. Charles was convicted of murder. Well, here's a little backstory. This took place in the early 50s, and Charles is a black man who appeared in front of an all-white juror in a time where black people didn't have any rights. Charles was just 20 years old at the time, and his life just flashed before him. After 64 years, he was finally released in a nursing center where he's now 86 years old. I mean, this is a really sad situation. There's no way to give him his life back. Howard Christensen is next up on this list at number 4. Howard was sentenced to life without parole for the murder of a teacher in 1937. He was 16 years old at the time when he murdered a teacher. He committed this crime alongside a 17-year-old who was also caught for the crime. That person was also sentenced to life in prison, but they hung themselves back in 1943, just 6 years after being sentenced. About 30 years into the prison sentence, the sentence was changed from life without parole to 200 years in prison. But in 2001, after serving 64 years years, he was released from prison, but just 2 years after that, he passed away. Number 3, Richard Honeck. At the age of 22 years old, Richard was sentenced to life in prison for murder of a former school friend. Life in prison sentence usually varies depending on where you live in the world. It can depend on what state you live in or what city you live in. I know this state has very different laws. Some places they even have a 3-strike law, meaning no matter what crime you commit, if it's 3 crimes, you're sentenced to life. So for Richard, he was paroled after serving 63 years and 1 month in jail. He was released at the age of 85 years old. He lived out another 12 years until he passed away at the age of 97 years old, and that was back in 1976. Now at number 2, we have Johnson Van Dyke Grigsby. Johnson was sentenced to prison back in 1908 for murder. Over the years, he was denied parole 33 times before he was finally released at the age of 89 years old because he was deemed not a threat to anyone anymore. He wasn't a threat to society, so let's just release him. He was released in 1974 after serving 66 years, but he actually quickly returned back to prison voluntarily after finding it too difficult to find a job. So he checked himself back into prison for 2 more years. So now at the age of 91 years old, he's finally out of prison for good. And then 10 years after that, at the age of 101 years old, he passed away. I mean, that's a really sad situation when you check yourself back into prison because you don't know any other life. Finally, number 1, we have Paul Goodell Jr., who is known to have served the longest prison sentence in the United States, possibly the world. He was sentenced to
Bro, he was sentenced in 1908. Do y'all know what it was like in 1908? In 1908, there was no cars, nothing. But in 1970, he comes out, he's like, what is this? What is this? And they're like, oh, what are you talking about? This is a car. What? And they listened to a bunch of music. Back in his day, they had a bunch of trumpets and stuff. I love you. Nowadays, well, not nowadays, but back in the 70s, it's more like, stay alive. No, I don't even know. I think in the early 70s, it was more like Michael Jackson and Jackson 5 days. But I'm going to get back to the video because I'm losing time.
68 years in a variety of different New York State prisons, and he actually lived to see the day when he was released from prison. That is actually a very rare thing. At the end of his lengthy sentence, he was paroled at the age of 86 years old. Back in 1911, Paul was convicted of second-degree murder at the age of 17 years old. When Paul was paroled, he actually didn't want to leave prison because that was the only life that he knew. But at the end, he decided to leave. So when he left, there was a lot of reporters there, but he said he doesn't want any publicity. He doesn't want to be on the news. He doesn't even care if people know who he is. Paul went on to live in a nursing home before dying at the age of 93 years old, which is about 7 years after being released from prison. This guy only spent about 24 years of his entire life as a free man. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys very soon in a new Most Amazing
I told you guys we could do more on this topic. I just wanted to see if you guys wanted more, and you did. So, here we are. My name is Danny Berg. Sit back, relax. It's time to get a little bit freaked out now with the top 10 scary kids who remember their past lives, part 2. Alright, at number 10 now we have Sam Taylor. To put it quite simply, Sam Taylor claimed to be the reincarnation of his own granddad. When he was a year and a half old, as his father changed his diaper, he looked up at him and said, "When I was your age, I used to change your diapers." As he got older, he came out with more things that made his parents think he was the reincarnation of his grandfather. He would talk about how his sister had been murdered and how his wife used to make milkshakes for him near the end of his life. This was all true. He even identified his granddad in a school picture from when he was 16 and said, "That's me." Cool. That's also a bit creepy. And so's this. At number 9 now we have Suzanne Ghanem. This story takes place in Lebanon. 10 days before Suzanne was born, a woman called Hanan Mansour had died after a failed heart surgery. She had always said she was going to be reincarnated and have lots to say about her previous life. She had tried to call her daughter Layla before the heart operation but couldn't get through to her. Just before Suzanne was born, her mother had a dream that a woman came to her and kissed her saying, "I am going to come to you." When Suzanne was 16 months old, she would take the phone and say, "Hello, Layla, over and over again. Later, Suzanne explained that Layla was one of her children and that her real name was Hassan. She said her head was still small and to wait until it's bigger, then she might be able to tell them more. When she met Hassan's family, she named every single one of them and knew details only Hassan would have known. She still called Hassan's husband when she was 25 just to see how he was. Alright, at number 8 now we have Titu Singh. When he was 2.5 years old, this boy from India told his family about his other life in Agra, a city in the north. He said his real name was Suresh Verma. He had a wife called Uma and 2 children and owned a TV and radio shop. He said he had been shot, cremated, and his ashes thrown in the river. He said he was homesick to go back. His brother visited the city and found a TV and radio shop ran by a widow called Uma. It was called Suresh Radio, owned by Suresh Verma, who had been shot. When Uma visited Titu, he asked her how the children were doing and shocked her by talking about their very specific family memories. Perhaps the most shocking thing of all, though, was Titu's birthmark, a round indented shape in the exact same spot where the bullet killed Suresh Verma. Coming at number 7 now, we have PM. This story comes from a case study where the child was referred to as PM. PM was a boy whose half-brother had died from an illness 12 years before he was born. That boy limped, he had a fracture on his left tibia, he had an operation above his right ear, and had chemotherapy through his external jugular. He died at 2 years old, blind in his left eye. When PM was born, he had 3 birthmarks matching exactly where his brother's illness had affected him. He had a swelling above his right ear, a mark on his neck, and corneal leucoma, which caused him to be blind in his left eye. He also had a limp, and he told his parents he wanted to return to the old family home, even though he had never been there before, and he described it with perfect accuracy. Wow. Okay, at number 6 now we have Daniel Jurdi. First, let's talk about Rashid Kadej. He was a mechanic from Fermatar in Lebanon. He died in 1968 in a car crash at a military beach at the age of 25. His friend Ibrahim was driving. A year later, Daniel Jurdi was born. His first word was Ibrahim. At the age of 2, he told his mother he wanted to go home. Then he said, "This is not my house. You are not my mother. My father died." My father's name was Naeem. Naeem was the name of Rashid's father. At the age of 3, Daniel's family passed the military beach where Rashid had died. He started crying. He covered his eyes and said, "This is where I died." A psychiatrist who heard this story arranged a meeting between the 2 families. Daniel recognized Rashid's sister and called her by name. He did the same thing with his friend Ibrahim. The family accepted Daniel as their son from a previous life, and he would visit them every month and stay with them. Alright, at number 5 now we have Luke Ruhlman. At 2 years old, Luke started talking about Pam. His mom had no idea who Pam was, so she asked him. Luke said he used to be Pam, a girl with black hair who traveled in Chicago. He said, "I died and went up to heaven and saw God, who eventually pushed me back down. When I woke up, I was a baby, and you named me Luke." The mother asked how Pam died, and Luke said, "In a fire." Luke's mother searched online and found that a Chicago fire in 1993 had killed 19 people, including a woman called Pam Robinson. Alright, at number 4 now, we have a girl called Kendra Carter. Kendra began swimming lessons when she was 4 years old and attached herself immediately to her swimming coach. She told her mother that the coach's baby had died when she was sick, and she pushed the baby out. Her mother asked her how she knew this, and Kendra said, "I'm the baby that was in her tummy." She then described the abortion. Her mother found out that the coach did have an abortion 9 years before. The girl started to get closer to the coach, and the mother let her stay with her 3 nights a week until she fell out with her. Kendra then became depressed and didn't speak for 4 months until her mother let her see the coach again. Coming in at number 3 now, we have Taranjeet Singh. At 6 years old, this boy from India claimed that he had been a person called Satnam Singh. This boy lived in another village, which he described in detail, and Taranjeet knew his father's name. He said he had been killed while riding his bike home from school and had died from head injuries. He recognized Satnam's families and all the objects in their home. But here's the real creepy thing. A forensic scientist took samples of Taranjeet's handwriting and compared it to Satnam's handwriting. He found them to be identical. Some people say that your handwriting is almost as unique as your fingerprints, and it's incredibly difficult to convincingly fake it. At number 2 now, we have the twins. Dor Ai Phu and Dor Sapai were 2 sisters from Burmese who died in their old age in the early 1960s. They were both Buddhists who believed in reincarnation. 2 years after their death, twin sisters were born 4 kilometers away, called Ma Nyunt Nyunt San and Ma San San Nyunt. When they were 3 or 4 years old, their mother jokingly asked them where they came from. They said from the coca tree. They didn't exist nearby. Then one day, someone mentioned the name of one of the sisters' sons. The girl said he should not be allowed to visit because he was a gambler and spent all their property. The twins said they came from the same town as the women. There were cocoa trees there. They said they put up water stands for travelers in that life. That's something the women did. At age 5, they remembered their own names, and when they were shown a photograph, they both pointed to a separate sister and said that was them. The evidence kept building up even more, but for many people, it's the physical similarities that are all they need to be convinced. And finally, number 1 now, we have Joey Verwey. When this girl was 3 years old, she started recalling details of her past lives. That's right. Not life, lives. 10 of them, in fact. She said her first life was as a cave dweller millions of years ago. She led researchers to the caves, the same one actually where the first Australopithecus were found, also known as the missing link. She then described her other lives, a slave in ancient Egypt with details of the slave ships and how she built stone roads there. In another life, she wore a veil on her face and saw an elephant carrying a princess. In another one, she was a persecuted Christian under the Roman Emperor Nero's reign. She said she may have even met Saint Peter. Finally, she remembered growing up in South Africa as the grandchild of President Paul Kruger. She said she had 10 children. Researchers found that one of them was still alive and in her 90s. When Joey was 5, she met the daughter, who said Joey reminded her of her mother. The two then talked for hours about their past life together. Okay, that's enough. I'm a little bit freaked out now. I'd feel a lot better if you guys could suggest some more videos for us to do. No more creepy reincarnation ones though, please. I'll do some
run, jump. I was just trying to be quiet, but I kind of messed it up now. Okay, but oh, no, okay. Lions Nation. This name is so common, like, I don't know why anybody would name their channel, like, Lions Nation. It's so common, like, is this it?
Lions Nation Squad. What you guys doing today? This is my new channel. I had another channel. Named B to the Asians channel Nation. But I didn't like that channel name and stuff, and everything was going wrong with it and all that stuff, and I just didn't want it. So
What's up, Imari? What's up, Imari? Who changed the name to Killer Clown? I don't even know. I don't even know I asked that question. Oh my god. Oh, what's up, Imari, though? Seriously, though. Just move this. Oh, damn, I can't even move my setup chair. Let me just move back there. Cameron, hello. What's good, Imari? Dang. I said, what's up? If you like watching live stream, I don't really feel like what makes my live stream because I'm watching this kid video right now. He needs some subs. He got 0 subs and stuff. But yeah. But, let me just sit down here. That's better. But I can't. No, I'm kidding. Phantom Clan. Cameron, hello. What's good, Mari? Dang. I said, what's up? If you like watching live stream, I don't really feel like what makes my live stream because I'm watching this kid video right now. He I wouldn't know if we changed if I was the leader, but I'm not, so I don't know who. But like, the leader should know everything, right? I don't really know everything, cause you never know. Some people be changing their name. Yeah, you know how I do it. Unless you do it, bro. Come on, we stuck with killer, not that. You don't understand. Okay, let's come to an agreement with Killer Clan. You know how you're the leader and everything? How about, you know how you have Kaman and you have Brandon and everything? Y'all know how y'all have Kaman and Brandon and Karan. I don't know who else, but I know Jalen's trying to get some new members in there. He said you do PS4 games, but it's cool. Oh dang, I can't even step down from it. Let me just jump out here. I know Killer Clan's cool and everything. It was cool. But if you search up Killer Clan, you're not gonna find our channel until you scroll all the way down. With this name, we're the first person who pops up. Like, if you tell somebody to search up our channel and subscribe, you don't gotta go to the phone and say, oh, nope, that's not it. Nope, not that. You're gonna search it up and be like, first person there. But before I go back to you, Imari, 200 videos special. When you get 200 videos, we got 197 right now. 197, that's a lot of videos. How long will it take to delete all those? No, I'm kidding, but still. Just reply to him real quick. I know that. I know. Why don't you let me go? No, I'm kidding. But seriously though, I mean, Killer Clan was cool and everything, but it's just the popularity of the name. Like, everybody has the name Killer Clan. Like, you got a person with 100,000 subs, his name's Killer Clan, and you know he's more popular than us. We only got 150. You already noticed he's more popular than us. Yeah, we just wanna. What the heck is that? Oh, that's my jersey. But let me seriously. I know that Killer Clan. When we first started Killer Clan, I've gotten really used to it. So when it changed, I was like, what? But I mean, Phantom Clan is kind of like, oh, I mean, you could still be Killer God, because we were gonna do the God Clan, because you know you're Killer God and it'll just be right. Then you could do the Killer God, like the Blood God, you know, stuff like that. But that would have been too much. So we just decided on the Phantom Clan. Now, oh, I just keep jumping around on my bed and stuff. But, Imari, you know how you were posting video? Like, you posted like a few videos. Like, the pranks video. I know you're on Cam Gaming 17. Like, I pay attention to everybody's channel. I pay attention to, Come On channel, Cam Gaming 17. I pay attention to everybody's channel. Like, I don't just not pay attention. I subscribe to them, so I gotta pay attention to them. So, with your BO3s, part 1s and stuff, you beating with them and stuff, I feel like y'all can kind of do that stuff with us too. But y'all can just do it differently, because I know that's a lot of work editing it, and all that little, like me fading away and stuff into the next part, then editing it, and y'all got some bloopers for it. I know that was cool and everything. But I mean, I wish y'all could do that for this channel. I mean, it's kind of like, I wish y'all could just like, you know, do that for this channel, because this channel needs that type of stuff. So I can edit, but I don't feel like editing. Like, it takes too much. Like, it just doesn't. It just takes too much. I'd be like, son, like I might edit a video, like the video. Let me show you what type of video I just did. Go to here. Here, this guy right here. We lit. He hasn't posted in a month. When you have a YouTube channel, you gotta do like, you gotta be social and, you know, you gotta be active with your channel. I mean, you can't be going like, I'm gonna go one post every month, like Dante Water does, because he thinks he's so special. No offense, man, I'm just saying, like, you think you're so cool. Oh, I have 500 subscribers. I'm gonna post every month, and people should watch it. Like, no. And no, that's how it works. But like I said in that video, just stop right there. No, I'm kidding. Like in this video. Like I edited this video. It's kind of hard. I did it at the beginning. Like, I know that wasn't much editing, but I did at the end too. So, coming to Killer Clan. Like, I forgot to upload that video, but I mean, I'll do it tomorrow. But I mean, seriously though, I mean, I feel like, look, if we could like communicate on other type of terms, like if I could get everybody's number of clans, all each other's numbers, we can talk to each other about everything, instead of being having to wait and stuff, then I think that'd be cool. Like, let me just, that'd be really, oh, I just coughed. That'd be really cool. I mean, for real. Now, Imori, don't go changing the password on us, because I don't want to say it, but I mean, you can't really log anybody out anymore. Because, I mean, you can change the password, but you can't really kick anybody out unless you tell them and they agree to kick themselves out. Because, I mean, don't say anything of it, because we're still 150 subscribers strong. I mean, and I want people to come to us and be like, it's right here. Like, if you search up Phantom Clan right now, I'm off. Like, if you search up Phantom Clan, wow, boom, right there. See, it's like the first thing that pops up. Not when you search up J Nation channel, like John's channel, he's the first person who pops up. And then so you tell like 100 people to search it up, and they search it up, they're gonna find it. But if you like tell people to find Killer Clan, they're gonna be looking and then they're just gonna give up. That's the problem I had, and the other members had. But like I was saying something about, you know, you have Come On, then you got Brandon, and you got Karan, who never posts at all. He hasn't, you know, just hasn't. Like, you know how they make videos and everything? How they make little videos? maybe you can be the leader of them. Then I can be a leader of Jalen, John, James, and the other people. Like we can still be all the same clan. But we can be leaders to different parts of the clan, like our own. It's like a double clan and one and combined. That'd be cool. I mean, it doesn't have to be like one person the leader, because we can have a leader and everything. But I mean, the leader has to be like the person who makes the most stuff on the channel, who has the most YouTube experience. Now I'm not saying that I do, because I don't. Like, the person who really has the most YouTube experience is probably Cam Gaming 17, because he started a channel way before we did, and he can edit the best and everything. So I think really if he wanted to say like who should do the best, the leader should be the best person on YouTube, you could probably say it would be Cam Gaming 17, just because how he edits his videos and stuff. I mean, because I don't even have that much YouTube experience. I've only been here since January because Jalen influenced me to start YouTube. Because if he would have said anything, because actually I started YouTube about 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago I made a video on my channel, and I thought about starting a YouTube channel. But then I just started slacking off, because I said, you know what, just forget it. I'm not gonna do YouTube. I'm just gonna continue on my life, do other things. Then this year, when I met Jalen, he said he had a YouTube channel, so he asked me to subscribe. So I was like, okay. Then he said, maybe you should start a YouTube channel. So I said, okay, I don't know, I don't have any names. So he said, I don't know, just pick something. So I said, Curry for Life Hooper. I don't know why, but I mean, just did, because, you know, I don't know why, but I just did. So I did that. And then everybody was hating on him because they said that Curry for Life Hooper was such a fanboy name. And I told them, I don't really care if it's a fanboy name, I'm sticking with it, bro. That changed to Camera Hooper after a while, but then I just ended the channel completely until, like, well, about a month ago, I uploaded another video on my channel. But as your channel gets popularity, like the other Killer Clan that had 100,000 subs, if we had like 1 million subs, we would be the popular Killer Clan. Everybody would be subscribed to us, cause you remember how Devin was being Killer Clan. So like, Imari, you were the 4th member of Killer Clan. I'm just saying. I know you all agreed. Oh. Yeah. Agreed on Killer Clan and everything, but you were the 4th member. Like, who's the first? Who might have a first member? Because it was me, Dylan, and Evan at first. But we allowed you in it because you said you had started a YouTube channel. It was called something for that, but you started that. I mean, it was cool and everything. It was like that, you know what I mean? But I mean, seriously though, I mean, you know what? The actual answer to your question about who changed Killer Clan and why, I just answered your question on a hour-long speech I gave you guys, but still, Phantom Clan number. Oh, what? What? Oh my god, no. If we go to channels on a Flint Clan, no, I'm just gonna stop right there. Like, now, I think we can be the most popular one, or we can be the only one. That'll be even better. Yes. No, I'm kidding. So, how many other Phantom Clans are there? There ain't no other Phantom Clans. There might be other K-Lands, but no Phantom Clan. That means we're the only real Phantom Clan out there. So people will worship our name, and bam! But initially, I didn't even come with the name Phantom Clan. It was actually... Well, who do you think came with the Phantom Clan? Think I'll come with no Phantom Clan? Who do you think the first expectation of this name of the channel was supposed to be before you said Killer Clan? It was supposed to be Phantom Clan. I didn't come with that name. Who was one of the original members? Me, Jalen, Devin. Who do you think come up? You think Devin will come up with Phantom Clan? Well, he was Phantom Gaming's YT. But it might have been... Let me just say something. I really just... You know what? I'm done with this live stream. But Imari, can you please comment on the videos and give me your number so I can, talk to you besides in the live stream and everything? Because, I mean, seriously, though. So, Imari, can you please, get your number and everything so we can talk in, more detail about Phantom Clan and everything? So, I mean, still, just give me your number so I can talk to you about the name and everything. Live stream. But Imari, can you please comment on the videos and give me your number so I can, talk to you besides in the live stream and everything? Because, I mean, seriously,
like detail or anything. We talk like more detail about Phantom Clown and everything. So let's go.
I'm gonna end the live.
Just give me a number to talk to you about the name and everything.